are interested in even one secret to reverse aging. So we're going to talk about 7 of them. And while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to be showing a little video about the work that we've been doing. We started the Hawaii Health Foundation. I started with recently late Kenny Brown. And we believe that our healthcare system was broken. How many of you think our health system is broken? Well, if you don't think it's broken, think about it. If the healthcare system was working, shouldn't the cost of healthcare be going down? Right? So which way is it going? The wrong way. So Mr. Brown and I had the same idea that we wanted to do things where people needed less medication. How many of you think doctors should put people on less medication rather than more? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And to introduce the topic, I'm going to show you a little video. We were lucky enough that one of our programs was featured all over the country on CBS, CNN, Dateline, NBC. I'm just going to show one of them. I actually have all 3 clips, but this is a little clip from CBS this morning about our program.
It is 17 until the hour. A major health survey has named Hawaiians as the healthiest people in the country. But Dr. Bob Arnott, who was just in Hawaii and is now back in New York, tells us that's not true for everyone who lives here. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Harry. Hawaii does score #1 on the nation's Good Health Report card, with the longest life expectancy and the 2nd best infant mortality rate. But hidden in those statistics are the native Hawaiians, who make up the unhealthiest group in the entire nation.
In fact, Native Hawaiians have the worst health of any ethnic group in the U.S. The death rate from heart disease is 3 times higher.
The foods that we eat today are very, very different from the foods that our ancestors ate. And that brought about some of the investigations.
The investigation began with Ed Aikala. At one point, the 50-year-old Hawaiian weighed 425 pounds, had a blood sugar level of 800, had severe chest pain, and almost died from kidney failure.
I overindulged in fat food because ignorance is not a dirty word. It just simply means you don't know. And I was ignorant to a lot of things that concern nutrition value in foods.
I want you to show me what a typical 3-month batch of prescriptions look like for you. Great. 3 months worth of prescriptions? How did you ever remember to take all that stuff?
Sometimes I ended up in the emergency room for overdosing myself.
Ed's health is miraculously better. He's lost hundreds of pounds. His blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol are all near normal. But his good health didn't come from a bottle. It came from a return to a traditional diet.
We demonstrated that eating this food will not only prevent many of their problems, but will actually reverse high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We've gotten people off of insulin who've been on insulin for much of their life.
The diet has saved Ed Aikala's life. He's totally off insulin. He's only taking 2 medicines out of that great big bag you saw, and what's more, he can eat all he wants. Ed's become a convert, encouraging other Hawaiians to drop the high-fat American diet and return to their roots. And he's made another convert to me. I'm off junk food forever. Harry?
I have a few announcements before Dr. Shintani speaks. First of all, we know it's always hard to remember what he says, so you can get a free report if you have email. You can get a free report of today's lecture. Okay, the report is 7 best ways to reverse aging. You can also get some other things like a free ebook, Lose Weight While You Sleep. What we need is your email address. So you can go to that table. You see the gentleman there with the green shirt. with his hand up, go to that table and leave your email address. We have to be able to read your email address. He also can pass around the clipboard if anybody raises their hand. Okay, also, today we have Dr. Shintani's program. He does have a 10-day program, reverse disease in 10 days, and lose weight. There was a problem. We didn't get enough of these registration forms printed, so there is a $500 discount. But because we were in a rush, the registration form was not updated. So actually the price of the program is $300 less than it's supposed to, so it's actually an $800 discount that we will honor for anybody who wants to sign up for his program today. So if you're interested, come see me at the table after Dr. Shintani's talk, okay? There was an error, we had a big problem, we didn't print up enough handouts, and there was an error, so there actually instead of $500 discount for signing up today, you get an $800 discount. Okay, let me introduce Dr. Shintani and we can get started. Dr. Terri Shonta received his master's degree in nutrition at Harvard University and both his medical and law degrees at the University of Hawaii. He is board certified in preventive medicine and he serves as the associate chair of the Department of Complementary and Alternative Medicine at the John A. Burns School of Medicine. Dr. Shintani is on the national board of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. In 1989, he created a whole person program to promote the health of the Hawaiian people. In 1993, his program won the highest national award from the U.S. Secretary of Health. He has written 10 books, including the Eat More, Weigh Less Diet, the Hawaii Diet, and the Good Carbohydrate Revolution. Dr. Shintani has been featured on CBS This Morning, ABC National Radio, CNN News, Dateline NBC, and as of 1995, he appears in the Encyclopedia Britannica. For his many contributions to humanity, he has been honored by being formally designated a living treasure of Hawaii and by being officially knighted by the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, the oldest Christian healing order in the world. Please welcome Dr. Terri Shonta.
Their morning with us. This talk usually takes an hour and a half, and they gave me 40 minutes, so it's packed with information. So I'm going to go through this quickly. I'll try to leave a little bit of time at the end for questions, but if you want an email of the slides here, there's a clipboard going around.
Yes.
Yeah, so a clipboard is going around. Just put your email address and we'll email you the slides. At least I can't email you the videos, but I can email you the slides. So, the Hawaii Health Foundation, again, was started by Kenny Brown and myself. We're a 501c3 organization. We've actually conducted over 1,000 community presentations and programs. The Dalai Lama says we have more conveniences but less time, more knowledge, less judgment, more experts but more problems. He also says more medicine but less health. How many of you agree with that? Right? Isn't that a problem? Too much medicine, not enough health. So these are the 7 Ds of aging: disease, discomfort, pain, memory loss, drugs, disability, dependence, and death. How many of you want to avoid these? Well, out of all of these, the one thing you can't avoid is number 7. But we can make it much more pleasant. up till that point. So we're going to talk about, see, chronological aging you can't stop, but biological aging you can. And actually they have measures of aging based on these factors. Obesity, cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure, and they can actually predict your age by looking at these factors. So I'm going to talk about reducing these factors so your biological age gets better. So 7 secrets. I'm going to talk about how to control weight even by eating more. How many of you would like to control weight by eating more food? Control cholesterol with less medication, blood sugar with less medication. A couple of ways to avoid Alzheimer's. How many of you are interested in even one way to avoid Alzheimer's? That should be everybody. How about reducing pain with less medication? And how to have more energy. How many of you want more energy? That's all of us do. And how to stay healthy. 10 leading causes of death. Most of them, all the red ones, are related to diet and lifestyle. Heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes are all diet-related diseases. Do you know what the 4th leading cause of death is? It's sneaked in here. Do you know? It's new. Wasn't in there 10 years ago. Well, you might be surprised that the 4th leading cause of death is medication itself. Okay, now think about this. Think about this. If I treat somebody with diabetes, which is the 6th leading cause of death, why would I want to give them the 4th leading cause of death to deal with that? I mean, of course I'm being facetious, but the point is, we need more health and less medicine. How many agree with that? Right, so we're going to talk about that. So, how to control weight while eating more. How many of you want to learn how to eat twice as much food and still lose weight? All right. Well, part of the problem we have is we're eating really badly. Too much fat, too much sugar. In ancient times, we ate very little fat, sugar, lots of whole carbohydrates. You know, a lot of people say don't eat carbs. Some of you have said that don't eat carbs. You know, the slimmest people in the world eat the most carbohydrate. What do I mean? Think about China. Think about Japan. You know, you ever see Japanese tourists come over? You can tell the locals from the tourists, right? You know why? The locals are fat, right? But do you know who's eating more carbs? The Japanese are. So why is it? Well, part of it is in the U.S., we eat mostly processed carbs. And we eat too much fat. So we want to change that. Of course, you know I worked for years with the Native Hawaiians. Some people think it's all in the genes, but it's not. Look at what Hawaiians used to look like in the old days. They were slim. What do you suppose changed? These are pictures in the 1800s. They used to eat taro. That's a high-carb food. If carbs make you fat, how come they weren't fat? What is the main food for Hawaii today? Well, somebody said Spam. They're right. Hawaii is the largest per capita consumer of Spam in the entire universe. 700% more than the national average. And the problem with Spam is, it is not you think it's a meat product, right? So high protein. How many of you knew that Spam only has 17% protein? Do you know what the rest of the 83% is? Fat. No wonder we're getting fat. This is what's happened to humans over time. You are what you eat, right? You see this? We have too many lifestyle diseases. All these diseases are diet-related, and you see these diseases, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, headache. What does modern medicine treat you with first? Is it diet and lifestyle? No, they give you pills. If they give you pills, that means they're not solving the problem, right? So this is what we used to eat in the old days. This is what we eat today. Do you see the difference? So we need you to eat more of that stuff. So why eating more may be better for weight loss? If you look at these foods, what is similar about these 4 jars of food? Well, 200 calories, 200, 200, and 200. This is poi, brown rice, sugar, and fat. Did it ever occur to you that it's so little food when you make foods with sugar and fat? Here's a plate full of sugar and fat. What is similar about these plates? Same calories? How many of you think it's the same calories? Well, you're very smart if you think so, but you would be wrong because this is more calories than this. And remember I said I'd show you how to eat twice as much and still lose weight? This is actually 3 times as much food, and it's still fewer calories. How about an apple and a muffin? Apple, 90 calories. How many calories in the muffin? Somebody said 250. Do I have 300? 350, 400, 450, 500. It's actually 550 calories. Okay. All right? Think about it. If you ate apples, how many apples would you have to eat to equal that? 6 apples. How many of you can eat 6 apples? Can't do it. So if you're eating natural food, you can't get fat. Simple thing. By the way, this is to show you I'm not lying about it. It's right off the label. So in our 10-day program, we push people back to the old way of eating, and people lose weight automatically. This guy lost almost 200 pounds. This lady lost half her weight. If you'll listen to it, she was 246.
When I started the program, I weighed 243 pounds. Currently, I weigh about 128. I'm kind of going in between the 125 and the 130. The other thing too, the other day I think now my outside matches my inside. You know, now I look like how I feel on the inside. And that was kind of neat.
Okay, so, and by the way, this is 7 years later. She kept the weight off by eating properly. So, and actually we have ways of getting people to maintain their weight. And this is our study showing that people would eat more and their calorie intake would go down, so they'd weigh less.
I just kept on eating and eating, and I was never hungry. I've never felt deprived. I eat a lot of food. My original weight loss was 45 pounds, 37 pounds so far.
I've lost 52 pounds.
I've lost 56 pounds, and I've kept it off for 7 years.
And we published our studies showing that cholesterol, triglycerides, blood sugar, HDL all improve. So the second way to extend your life is to keep your cholesterol down. Now, the problem with doing that is, do you know what one of the side effects of cholesterol medicine is? Can somebody name me a side effect of cholesterol medicine? Liver problems, right? You know what's one of the new ones they found? Memory loss. How many of you seen memory loss? I don't. And part of the reason is cholesterol medicine blocking the production of cholesterol also blocks the production of coenzyme Q10, which gives your brain and your muscles energy. And when you don't have it, you get muscle damage and slow brain function. So it's important to keep your cholesterol down without medicine, or with as little as possible. Of course, it's very clear that cholesterol is related to heart disease. It's also very clear that cholesterol is only found in animal products. Anything that has a face on it has cholesterol in it. So these are 7 steps to improve cholesterol. Reduce saturated. Trans fats are really bad. You've got to make sure you don't eat hydrogenated fat, total fat. Is the clipboard going around? So I see people writing down. If you just send me your email. I'll send you these items. Exercise, fiber and herbal supplements, Google lipid, garlic, psyllium. These things actually lower cholesterol. Niacin will lower cholesterol if you take it in a high enough dose. But if you do, you got to check your liver enzymes just like you do when you take statins.
I never went away from the meal feeling hungry or deprived. And that was one of the problems that I've had with diets in the past. I always had to eat a lot less food and always seemed to be hungry. But not on Dr. Shintani's diet.
All right. So, I forgot. Anyway, his cholesterol went down over 100 points in 3 weeks. Now, if you can lower your cholesterol 100 points in 3 weeks, why would you want to take medicine, right? So that's the results of our program. How about high blood pressure? That's another main issue that counts in terms of your age. If your pressure is high, your risk of death is higher, stroke and heart disease. These are the things you can do to lower hypertension, control cholesterol, blood sugar, sodium, stress, smoking, exercise.
I lost 52 pounds. I didn't have to take blood pressure medicine anymore. I just hate to take medicine. And it was such a relief not to have to take the medicine. My blood pressure stays normal.
How about learning about, how many of you want to know about something that cuts your cancer risk almost in half? Well, interestingly, if you can get in our programs, we're going to try to start measuring people's vitamin D level. But if you keep that optimized, you can cut your breast cancer risk. Well, I have to say this is just an association, but it's associated with 80% less breast cancer, 60% less colon cancer, 30% less of all cancers, and actually 30% lower risk of heart attack. So it's important to check on your vitamin D level. Control diabetes with more carbs and less meds. You know, our program is a high carb diet, and we still get blood sugar under control. Here's Japan, high carb, low diabetes rate. Here's Hawaii, mainland, lower carb, high diabetes rate. The key is processed carbs. You've got to know what you're doing, because if you do things like you eat lots of meat and stuff, you actually start blocking your insulin receptors. That's one of the complaints I have about, they have this paleo diet thing. You know what the problem I have with the paleo diet? Paleolithic humans live to be about 35 years old. So why would you want to follow a diet where you have no idea if it'll support long life?
How soon after you began the Hawaiian diet did you stop taking insulin altogether?
It was my second week on the diet.
You're kidding.
No, it was.
2 weeks out.
2 weeks on the diet.
We've done that with even worse cases, with people who had even more insulin.
Dr. Shintani published the results of his diet in the respected American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. In his study, the average dieter lost 17 pounds. Cholesterol counts dropped 14%. Blood pressure and blood sugar improved as well, all in just 3 weeks.
The results vary. If you follow my diet carefully, you really should be followed by a doctor. That's why when we do our 10-day programs that Dr. Nomura is talking about, we have physician supervision, because not because our diet is dangerous, but your medications might be dangerous. And some people, their blood sugar drops so fast, which is a good thing, but if you don't adjust your medicine right away, it could, hypoglycemia. Some people have high blood pressure medicines. We had a couple of people lower their blood pressure so quickly that on day 2 or day 3, I had to take them off their blood pressure medicine, which is a good thing, but something that you need a doctor to look after. A couple of ways to avoid Alzheimer's. How many interested in that? Well, controlling your blood sugar is an important way to avoid dementia. Why? Because what people don't realize is, cholesterol will block your arteries, but high blood sugar will block your tiny little capillaries. And that includes in the brain, so you won't get full oxygenation in your brain if your blood sugar is too high. And it's kind of paradoxical because your brain needs sugar to operate, but if it has too much, it'll start glycosylating the proteins, including hemoglobin, and then there are little deposits under the capillaries and they start shutting down. That's why you get kidney disease, eye disease, foot disease, poor circulation from diabetes. Also, Dr. Rudolf Tanzi, chair of the Alzheimer's Research Program at Harvard, said something very startling. He said, all animals, if they live long enough, will get the pathology of Alzheimer's, except for one category of animal, herbivores, plant eaters.
Tigers, lions, bears, any animal that gets old enough will get plaques and tangles, the pathology of Alzheimer's in their brain. It's kind of tough to do cognitive testing on them, of course. You ask them to name 10 different cities or towns in the US, they don't tell you much. But basically, this disease will strike all mammals except herbivores, vegetarian.
So did you hear that? Except for herbivores. That's one of the reasons why I emphasize the consumption of whole and processed plants and the reduction of animal products. How to control chronic pain with less medicine. How many of you would like to learn how to make your blood react like aspirin without having to take aspirin? Right? Wouldn't you? Right? Because aspirin, you can get all ulcers and other problems, hearing problems. So what do arthritis, allergy, asthma, and autoimmune disease have in common? Anybody? Do you know what they have in common? And don't anybody say they all start with the letter A. It's inflammation, right? Inflammation is common to arthritis, allergy, asthma, autoimmune disease. In our programs, we have seen autoimmune disease evaporate. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, psoriasis, those rashes that we've had people see that clear up. Asthma, we've had people who have been on asthma, Ventolin, steroids, and now they're off. Allergies start to go away. Arthritis, I'm not saying it's 100% cure, but many, many people see these aches and pains and problems start to get mitigated. And why? I think it's because we reduce omega-6 oils, reduce arachidonic acid, which is found in animal products. We control insulin, and we limit processed carbs. I know this is a very complicated slide, but this shows that how aspirin works by blocking prostaglandins, which cause pain, inflammation, fever, etc. And when you take omega-6, that's from vegetable, too much oil, and arachidonic acid, which is very high in especially chicken. How many of you eat chicken instead of beef? Well, if you've got chronic back pain or joint pain, you're really not doing yourself a favor. If we cut these off at the pass, it'll act as if you were taking aspirin. It's amazing. It works wonderfully. How to keep up your energy? Of course, diet. I say fewer animal products because you know one of the things that cuts your energy down? Your blood becomes acidified. And high protein diets acidify the blood. Why? Because of the sulfur in it. It turns to sulfuric acid and your pH will drop. Example, what happens to a lion after it makes a kill and eats all that protein? Does it get full of energy? No, it goes to sleep for a day or two, right? And that's probably because the voltage is dropping because of all the acid in the blood, and it has to process all of that. Exercise is important, balancing hormones, and scalar energy is a really interesting concept. If you have time tomorrow, come. We have flyers there. I have a free seminar. You get to try for free. It's a $75 value. You sit in our lecture hall and we talk about scalar energy. And like I said, tomorrow is no cost to learn about scalar energy. It's a new energy form. We've been testing it out at the medical school. I published a paper on it, and some people feel more energy. There's evidence that it has an antidepressant effect. There's evidence of improvement in neurological. We stopped seizures in a little autistic girl. I published that paper. People's joint pain seem to get less. But if you're interested in that, tomorrow too, we have a seminar at our Kukui Plaza office. Also, thyroid is important in keeping your brain function going. So people should try to have their thyroid tested. If you're, the symptoms are if you're tired, no energy, if your temperature is low, if you just feel like you're moving slowly. For women, if you're thinning of your eyebrows, is a good sign of a relatively low thyroid. But it's important because it also may mean that your brain isn't getting enough stimulation. I just ate 6 Happy Meals and I'm still depressed. Well, thyroid actually is really good antidepressant, like our machine is. So if you can try to sign up for that tomorrow, it's at 2 o'clock. You might be interested in that. How to get healthy and stay healthy? Well, the best way is to join a program. And the reason we have programs like this is because you get to see what the food tastes like. You get community support. We teach you how to do the cooking. It's different cooking. It's simple cooking, but it's different. We have physician monitoring because some of you will get well so fast your medication becomes dangerous. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. How many of you agree with this? Health isn't everything, but everything else is nothing without health. Right? Wouldn't you say that? You know, I don't care if you're a billionaire, if you don't have health, you can't even enjoy any of that. Of course, people, you know, a lot of people are worried about their 401k and their retirement program, but you know, your biggest financial asset is not your 401k. It's not even your house. You know what your biggest financial asset is? It's your health, because it's the leading cause of poor health. Is the leading cause of bankruptcy. Well, I'm going to show you a little video of our program, and you'll notice that headaches, arthritis, fatigue, and other things are disappearing in this video. Prescription drugs. And I mean, it's like how damaging being addicted to a narcotic is to an individual. This nation being addicted to prescription drugs is wrecking the nation.
Thank you. I need complex attack. 200 milligrams of Motrin. I ask for 20 pills, and every time I go in, I get another pill. I'm going to have to be taking it forever. My doctor said I'm pre-diabetic. I would get migraines every single day. A lot of lower back pain. I had night sweats.
Extreme urinary frequency.
Yeah, man, the only one. A lot. There's got to be something better than this.
I have diabetes. And all those things that kill Hawaiian. I believe it's going to be my last effort here.
There are many people taking a lot of medicines that they could get rid of if they were following a good diet and lifestyle the way we recommend. Some people say, oh, your diet is dangerous. A diet makes people well so fast that their medication becomes dangerous. Oh, ouch. Skip it. Actually, you should probably skip it. Skip it. Okay.
So surprised.
Being that it's on the low side of normal, you probably don't need your diabetes medicine.
I'm so excited.
Oh, why are you excited?
Oh. I lost 14.
I've already lost 11 pounds.
So that means you lost over
17.
your blood sugar is borderline, actually slightly high, 107. Now it's 90. Yeah.
Well, I had such a problem with reflux. Practically from the first day, it's been better. I have an unopened box of Prostate.
It's almost 228. And after 21 days, it's 141.
Wow. Yes. Oh, ankle, knees, hips. And since I've been off the dairy and off the meat products, nothing.
Your headache?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
I don't have any more headache.
But everything else is nothing without health. And avoid the leading cause of bankruptcy. Don't ever think that pills make you healthy. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay, I'm going to have, they said I have 5 minutes left. So I'm going to have Dr. Nomura say a couple of words and then I'll take a few questions.
Some people said, Dr. Shintani did not point out that those 6 points were actually anti-aging points, like how to prevent Alzheimer's and lowering your cholesterol. These are ways of, reversing your aging or anti-aging points. Some people didn't understand that. They thought he was just talking about weight loss. Anyway, just again, if you would like the free report on this Dr. Shintani's presentation, 7 Ways to Reverse Aging, which included all those points that he made. You can go to that table there. Craig, please don't take my picture. It's really distracting. It's the last table before the door. Reverse Aging and Disease in 10 days. You can get, if you leave your email address, they will send you by email the free report about Dr. Shintani's 7 Best Ways to Reverse Aging. Also his free ebook, Lose Weight While You Sleep. Also, You can learn about the Scalar system, which has anti-aging benefits. Go to and talk to the gentleman there sitting at the table. He has the Scalar system, and I think that might be mentioned, a free seminar on that. Also, we have, Dr. Shintani does have his program. We had a mix-up in our forms, and so the form was not updated. Actually, if you sign up today, you're supposed to get a $500 discount, but the form was not updated, so it's actually, yeah, this is last year's price, so actually you get an $800 discount. But come and see me if you want to. This is a program that includes medical monitoring, meals, classes, consultations with Dr. Shintani. Programs like this on the mainland, 10-day programs, range in price from $3,500 to $5,000. Dr. Shintani's program is under $3,000, and you get last year's price because we brought the wrong forms, or actually we didn't update the forms. So we also have calendars in case you want to check out the dates of the program. There are 2 programs this year, one in September, October, and one in November. Thanks.
All right, now I'll take a few questions. Any questions? Yeah. Vitamin D you should monitor. So it ranges from 2,000 to 5,000 international units, but you should monitor it so you don't overshoot. Yeah. Yes. Well, first thing is we do monitoring. We check your sugar, your pressure, your weight, your. I think we're going to start adding vitamin D because it's becoming important. At some point, we may be looking at thyroid because it seems to have an effect on other health measures. And we have some cooking demos. We show people how to do the food. We try to get people on a regimen, and you have community support. When I say community, the group support. We have medical monitoring. I do pretty much all the classes. I don't send in surrogates to, so I do most of the classes, or Dr. Nomura, and yeah. All right. Yes, in the back. Type 1 is very difficult. Yeah. So I don't really deal with type 1, although it'll help. It'll reduce the insulin requirement. But just for all of you, type 1 is juvenile onset diabetes. It's a different disease. It's an autoimmune disease that wipes out your pancreas's ability to make insulin. It's a different disease. Interestingly, type 1 diabetics tend to be slim because insulin will make you fat. And they can't make insulin, so typically, like Mary Tyler Moore, type 1 diabetic, slim all their life. Type 2 diabetics, typically overweight. Why? Because your insulin becomes less effective. And when your insulin becomes less effective, you put out more to control the same amount of blood sugar, and insulin makes you gain weight. And so we actually do very well with people who are overweight and type 2 diabetic, as you see in my published reports. Good question. Anything else? Yes? Oh, benign enlarged prostate. Benign enlarged prostate typically is excessive testosterone stimulation for years. And this actually can help to, and actually it's also inflammation. There's an inflammatory response. In fact, the term prostaglandin comes from prostate. And so this will help cut inflammation down and cut the stimulation of the prostate. down to some extent. You know, BPH, benign prostatic hypertrophy, is very rare in other countries. It's very common in the US. Why? Well, partly because we eat so many animal products and they're full of hormones, and you have overstimulation of prostate, so we have epidemics of breast cancer and prostate cancer in this country. So it contributes to dealing with that in that way. Yeah, we had a patient who was so bad that he had to wear a catheter to keep his prostate open, and it got at least to some extent better, so that he didn't have to do that after our program. But I'm not, I don't want to guarantee that these things happen. I'm just telling you what's happened in the past. All right, I think we are out of time. Is it? So I want to thank you all for your time.